Good morning, hello from London and welcome to my channel. Now if you're having trouble with moths and the quality of your lawn is not so good, then you probably need to use a Scarifying on it or a lawn rake. Let me show you what the problem looks like if you get up close and look in your lawn. So I've given this lawn a treatment that's starting to get rid of the weeds, but what's much more tricky and more difficult to get rid of is moss, and you can see here it just will choke the grass if you don't get it out. You can try and use chemicals on it. Actually, it's a physical job. You're going to have to get this all out and you'll be absolutely flabbergasted just how much of that is in a lawn. It's something here where this lawn stays wet quite a lot of the day that you have to do a couple of times a year. So you either have to do this with a lawn rake and do it by hand, or you're going to need something like this. This is a Black & Decker lawn scarifier that will get that all out. It looks very similar to a lawnmower, but in the front here you can see you've got all these prongs. They leave the good grass intact and they just remove the moss and any dead grass that's underneath that allows the new grass growth to go. So you just need to connect those bits together. If you don't have one of these, they're freely available, but I'll put some links in my description box. Right, this is the bit that collects all the moss and dead grass, and you can see it just clips in there and just lays on there like that. Now this is going to fill up a lot, so I'm going to have my brown garden wheelie bin close by. You can sort of tramp it down a bit if you like, but you'll be just amazed how often, how quickly this fills. So you need to make sure you've got your wheelie bin or however you're going to compost it handy. Right, I think without further ado, we'll get cracking. So with me, these colours in the UK vary and they're different in the States, but brown is for garden waste. That's the best option if you don't have a compost heap. You don't have many controls. You've got a safety button here and a pull for on, and that's it. So I'm going to turn on the mains and away we go. Now with this Black & Decker, you're going to have to keep making sure you move that into there. You don't want this moss just dropping back onto the grass because it will just self sort of seed and start growing again. And then give it a little tromp down like that to save you a number of trips to the recycling bin. When you're doing this, make sure anything that's spinning has stopped spinning before you move that up in the hopper a bit. Don't want to lose any fingers. Right, that's full. Let's unhook that. Ooh. Right, let's empty that now. Now you are going to get an awful lot of trips just from a lawn this size, so only once or twice a year. And one of the things that's different here is if you do get an area that is stubborn, that you can't seem to get all the moss out in one go, you can go over it a couple of times. You can't normally do that with a lawnmower, but this is different. And one other quick tip, the most common thing you'll find in the emergency room in the summer is people that have done something to their toes while mowing the lawn or using anything powerful in the garden. Make sure you've got decent shoes on. The more that you protect your toes, the less likely you're going to end up in ER. This sort of look where you can see there are gaps, and the grass, if you feed it and water it, that'll quickly fill that up with new growth and you should have a nice lush lawn for the rest of summer. I can see from the questions I received when I did this before, what sort of speed are you walking at? Well, it's a lot slower than mowing a lawn. Basically, it's slow enough so that you get all the crap out the lawn. If there's still moss left after you've been over it, you're walking too fast. Don't panic if you think the grass doesn't look particularly different. It won't do, and you can give it a day and then give it a normal mow. But what you're going to find in this sort of hopper here is all the dead grass, old weeds, but primarily all the moss. So I'm going to do the rest of the lawn and see how it looks. Now you may see that the grass looks different colours and it looks a bit muddy in places. After you've done this, just let it rain a few times and it'll settle down and you'll get new green grass growth. If you're in the States, you might want to put your sprinklers or showers on. In the UK, despite the fact it rains every other day on average, we always seem to have hosepipe bans. So we can't really do that, we have to wait for one of those wet days to wash that mud back in. I think I said at this beginning of this video you'd be flabbergasted just how much comes out. And you can see this is a very large wheelie bin. And although I've been pushing that down, that's already full. So even a fairly small area of grass that's got a lot of moss in the first one of the year, you're going to generate a lot of waste.